Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Howells. I'm going to read a book from a collection of stories by Robert Munsch. And I really like Robert Munsch. He has a lot of silly stories that I think are fun. The one I'm going to read today is called Cookies. And it's illustrated by one of my favorite illustrators. Let me just grab the page here. It's illustrated by Michael Marchenko. And I like him because he does a lot of funny things in his drawings, and it's one of those kinds of stories where you have to pay attention to what's going on in the pictures as well as what's going on with the words, because there are kind of two different things happening. So if you'll look at the story, the title page, you might be able to make some predictions as to what you think is going to happen. Here we have a picture of a little boy and a really big cookie, which has some interesting things on it. Then you can see in the background here what looks like his dad and his mom making some kind of silly faces, so you might be able to make some predictions as to what you think is going to happen in the story. All right, let's go. Christopher walked down into the basement and saw a big pile of play clay in the corner. Wow, said Christopher, I love play clay. Anybody else have a basement that looks like that? Full of interesting things. So he got himself a piece of red play clay and whapped it in his hands. Whap, 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 whap. Made it nice and round. Swish, 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 swish. Sprinkled it with sugar. Chick, 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 chick. Covered it with yellow icing. Glick, 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 glick. And put some raisins on top. Plunk, 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 plunk. Then Christopher went upstairs and said, Mommy, look, Daddy made you a cookie. Oh, said his mother. That's so nice. I didn't even know he could cook. It's quite the cookie he has there. So she picked up that cookie and took a big bite. Scrunch! And she yelled, Yuck! Plah! Splah! Play clay! Blah, 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 blah. She ran to the bathroom and washed out her mouth for a long time. Scritch, 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 scritch. While his mother was washing out her mouth, Christopher got himself another piece of red play clay. He whapped it in his hands, whap, 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 made it nice and round, swish, 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 sprinkled it with sugar, covered it with yellow icing, glick, 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 and put some raisins on top, plunk, 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 plunk. Then he went upstairs to find his father. Look how much play clay he's using. Let's see what happens with his dad. Christopher said, Daddy, look! Mommy made you a cookie. Oh, said his father, that's so nice. It's been a long time since your mother made me cookies. So he picked it up and took a big bite. Scrunch. It's quite the cookie he has there. It's almost bigger than he is. And he yelled, Yuck! Plah! Splah! Play clay! Blah, 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 blah. That cookie tasted so bad he ran to the bathroom and washed out his mouth. Scritch, 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 scritch. By the time his father and mother came out of the bathroom, Christopher was late for school. So they called up the teacher and said, Christopher is giving people play clay cookies. Don't worry, said the teacher. I know just what to do. Now, what do you think's going to happen with the teacher? She got herself some red play clay and whapped it in her hands. Whap, 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 whap. Made it nice and round. Swish, 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 swish. Sprinkled it with sugar. Covered it with yellow icing. Glick, 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 glick. And put some raisins on top. Plunk, 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 plunk. Then she put the cookie on Christopher's chair. When Christopher came in, he said, Look at that lovely cookie. He picked it up and he took a big bite, scrunch, and he yelled, "Yuck! Blah! Blah! Play! Clay! Blah! 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 Blah!" That cookie tasted so bad he ran to the bathroom and washed out his mouth. Burble! Burble! Splat! Swish! Blah! Get a look of what his faces are, showing how he's reacting to the cookie after he saw what everybody else did with their cookies. When Christopher came back from the bathroom, the teacher said, "And now would everyone like to make some real cookies?" And the class yelled, "Yes!" There's a lot going on in this picture. It looks like maybe the principal's poking his head in. They've all got ingredients. The teacher's got a recipe book. And when Christopher was done with his cookie, he took it home to give to his mother and father. That is quite the cookie there. Here's the last picture. Looks like there's enough for everyone to share. Something that I like about the story is that the main character, Christopher, sort of gets a taste of his own medicine. What that means is when he finally understands how he's making everybody else feel, because the teacher gave him a cookie that was made out of clay, just like how he had done that to his mom and dad. But I also like that at the end, he changes his mind about how to treat his mom and dad, and he does something nice for them, makes them a nice cookie that's real, happens to be bigger than their house, so that's kind of crazy. But he does a nice thing at the end. Something that I want to maybe challenge you guys to do is maybe do something nice for somebody in your family. Not a trick, something real. Or another thing you could do is you could try to make a cookie or anything that's food related out of Play-Doh and see if you can make it as real as possible. So like I have a piece of yellow Play-Doh here. This is homemade Play-Doh, which you can find recipes for homemade Play-Doh online if you ask your mom and dad for some help. This I have yellow, so I tried to make a banana and I tried to make a lemon this morning. My banana turned out pretty well. It doesn't look like a banana anymore because my little boy squished it, but looked pretty good at the time. I made it look a little bit more realistic than this. So see if you can find some Play-Doh or clay, make something like a cookie or make something that would look real, and maybe show it to your mom and dad. Do not let them eat it because that would not be nice. We learned our lesson from our Michael story.